All right, welcome back. We have Triple G here and Koibla. We are going to go over
Yep.
some really cool information and tutorials and stuff today. Welcome back. Our brief overview is we're gonna have some news. We're gonna have our main discussion. We're gonna go over gameplay and a little bit of a highlight. I talk about that, show off our skills a little bit. We're gonna have community interactions with a question or two from the community, as long as my wife's okay shooting a new question over. And then we are gonna wrap up, sign off, give you a quick summary and a teaser for next week. I am totally excited for next week's discussion.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, yes sir, yes sir.
Yeah.
Big chillin', bro. All right. So in our news, some of the most recent developments for Black Ops 6. All right, we're done with the beta. We have concluded that. We are getting feedback from players. And they've expressed their frustrations over the changes to weapons, names, and the lack of recognizable weapon brands, which were introduced in previous titles like Modern Warfare 2 and 3. I see a huge problem with this. Um,
How come?
I don't know if anybody else sees it, but that's like saying Black Ops 6 and Modern Warfare are the same thing. They kind of are cuz there are a lot of crossover in theme. However, at the same time like Black Ops 6 has always had different weapons than Modern Warfare 2 and 3, right? So, if we're hearing this kind of frustration, well that just goes to show us that the audience that they gathered in Modern Warfare 2 and 3 don't know anything about the previous games. That is the biggest amount of feedback and frustration that we're getting from these overall players, which means that Call of Duty has done a great job for Modern Warfare 2 and 3 of bringing in a new audience of players to the game. However, it also means that community players before these franchises, which, if you're talking to people who played the game before those, will say they're frustrated because Modern Warfare 2 and 3 didn't do any justice for the games, right? So we have a lot of frustration on both ends. And Black Ops 6, with all of its conspiracies and everything, has been said to be the game that's going to bring the franchise back and put it back on top, right? So hopefully they are open and listening to all of their community and everything that's going on, and that we can definitely bridge that gap and see where they can take this game in the next year, whether or not it brings back old community players and some of the new community players, and you know riches a bigger growing community, right? So um yeah, most important
You think
thing.
they're
Yeah, yeah,
you
Koibla.
think they're focusing more on the new community or the old community?
I would say that they're trying to bridge both the communities together right now because anybody from COD 2019 um, that loved movement definitely did not like Modern Warfare 2 and 3. However, when it comes to the omnidirectional movement, they are trying to speed the game back up, and I definitely felt it after I played the beta. Things felt fast. Things felt good, right? Moving over to Modern Warfare 3 and back to Warzone, kind of taking a step back, the game felt slower, right? So I already get this sense that they're speeding the game back up. Whether or not it's enough to bring back the community is a question for another day. Um, Today's discussion, however, um, is we definitely want to go over whether or not Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is going to bring more people outside the current community into the game, right? We also want to go over some of the negative key points that could use improvements to make Black Ops 6 better, right? So, I'll go ahead and open up the floor to Koibla if you want to give us any of your feedback from what you saw in the Black Ops 6 beta, and then I'll take it off from there for any of the points you don't hit.
Exactly. So I feel like we can all agree that when feature Black Ops 6 added, and you can get like behind them and like grab them, whisper in the ear and say a bunch of weird stuff. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Uh, the new movement, the how you say it makes it faster to speed up. One of my little worry is Like it's good, it's faster, but I don't think the old game, like the other game that everybody liked in the Call of Duty community, had those movement. So I kind of feel like the movement is good, but I don't think it's exactly necessary because imagine having those movement in like a map like shipment, wouldn't it be like too
Yeah.
convoluted? Everybody's like launching themselves on top of each other. It's like a pillow fight is fun, but then you're
Yeah.
gonna realize what happened in between. Oh, the other pillows are broken at the end.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean that makes sense. A few of the other things, just to kind of like lay down a few of the facts of the development of Call of Duty Black Ops 6, they had an extended development cycle on this game, right? So they've put more time into this game than they have before, probably due to the failures that they had, right? This game had a 4-year development cycle, allowing Treyarch to rebuild the core of Black Ops 6 experience and integrate new features. This could appeal to players who haven't played Call of Duty in a while or are new to the franchise, right? So again, they're trying to bridge that gap, right? New features and innovations. The game introduces Omni movement. It's movement brought to the system, it enhances gameplay across multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone. This could attract players who enjoy fast paced action and innovative mechanics, right? And then the marketing and communication. Treyarch has improved communications with the community, which could help build excitement and attract new players, right? They did that all last year with Modern Warfare 3, where they were just building the community, right? Everything that they said that they were going to do, they made a great leap and attempt to do. We saw that in this last year. They were very open about their communication. They were very open about all sorts of stuff. They even, now a lot of people want to be skeptical about this, but they even opened up about skill-based matchmaking and how exactly does this system work. Did you want to add anything more to that, Koibla, before we move on?
The skill based match, like do we know if it's any better or any worse? Because I know Call of Duty, they've been struggling to find that good spot, especially when you play. Let's say you're really good at the game, but you have a friend who plays once in a while, and they're bad at it. You know what I'm saying? And you
Yeah.
queue up. How does Call of Duty try to find that good spot when people like that play together?
Yeah, so what you want to know is how does Call of Duty uh how does Call of Duty bring two different skills,
Yeah, like
different
good
skill
players and
sets
bad players together.
in SBMM um to find the uh most matched game?
Yeah, 'cause
Find
that
the
could be a
best
problem for
find the best
Call of Duty
match.
rank.
Yeah, to find the best match. Okay. Let's go ahead and just take a quick sidebar here and find out what kind of information we have directly related to that. And then we can head back and find out some of the negative key points that could really use improvement in Black Ops 6 to make it better. Right? So, um multiple metrics. Skill-based matchmaking considers factors like player connection quality, time to match, skill level, platform, recent maps and modes. Um right? So they put player connection quality on the top, which doesn't necessarily, when people think player connection quality, right? Most people are going to go, what is ping? But that isn't necessarily true when it comes to connection quality. It's how well you connect to the server, right? And how well, like how stable your connection is, right? Um it seems to me like they've taken ping out of the equation, which is kind of frustrating for us, right? Because we all know that good ping equals good plays. It's just how it works, right? So they're seeing how well you connect to how strong that connection is to wherever you're connecting. Okay. Time to match, balancing the need for quick matches with finding suitable opponents, right? Suitable opponents. That's kind of skill level. This is calculated based on metrics like kills, kill death ratio, and kill deaths by enemy ratio, right? So they're taking your kill death ratio, their kill death ratio, and kind of matching them side by side, right? The platform, matching players on the same platform for smoother gameplay. So if you're on PC, they're going to try their best to find PC players, but if they don't, Xbox and PlayStation, depending upon their connection and their type and how that works in, is the next thing. And then recent maps and modes, taking into account recent performance on specific maps and game modes. So it's kind of interesting that they put that one at the bottom, but there might be a reason for it. It'll take how well your kill death ratio on recent maps compared to the current map and how that goes. Okay. Balancing skill levels. The system aims to create matches where the average skill level of both teams is relatively close. They're trying to get that as close as possible. The matchmaking might take a little bit of extra time with players with higher skills, because it's harder to find people closer to you with the same skill sets, right? You'll also have
Yeah,
player with
especially if you're
lower
really good.
skills to balance it out, right? So if you have a high skill player, they're going to try and give you a high skill player, and then they're going to work their way down, right? So there should usually, if you're solo queuing, there should be one good player on each team. If there's two good players, right? And there should be two good players on each team, so forth and so forth. It's kind of like, the kid sitting in gym going, "Hey, I'm gonna pick you," and the other person better pick the best player available. Otherwise, the game's gonna be skewed, and you know it, right? That's why people think that
Yeah.
skill-based matchmaking is cheating them out. Um, they have dynamic adjustments and transparent it, and they've explained this to us. So, let's go ahead and move on to some of the negative key points before we digress too much, and what kind of improvements that means, right? Um, Based on feedback from the beta, here's some key areas where Black Ops 6 could use some improvements. Server issues and latency. Pueblo, why don't you open up um, and choose one of the topics? We've got server issues and latency, time to kill and gunplay, spawn issues, connection quality and hit registration, optimization issues on PC, lack of excitement in gunsmithing, general disappointment. What would you like first?
I think I'll choose connection because I don't know what kind of connection it is, but it better not be the connection that Call of Duty Cold War has, where you try to join a friend and it just doesn't let you join them, and it shows that they're offline, and they gotta like reboot the game, invite. It's just annoying. Like back out, rejoin.
Okay, so that one would fall under more like server issues. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, like players this time around experienced extreme um latency issues, packet loss, server instability, making the gameplay frustrating, right? Not only does that make gameplay frustrating, it also makes connecting with your friends and other teammates really frustrating. It's kind of hard to get into a game when you can't even get into the game. Kind of makes sense, right?
exactly.
Like,
Especially imagine
um,
for tournaments.
yep, matchmaking for tournaments. Like, this is gonna, if they can't figure these things out, right? Even having a LAN tournament is gonna be a big, huge issue, and they're gonna have trouble connecting people in the tournaments to each other that they can play a match. They're gonna have some of the same frustrations they had that had Scump kind of walk away. Like he was frustrated with the franchise and where it was going, and you know he was in the middle of like a pro match when he like had to get up and take a few minutes to himself because like they had just started the match and it was already glitched out. Like he already had a server issue and latency and packet loss and all sorts of stuff that just he was just like, okay, I need some time. He had to walk off stage. It was crazy, right? In terms of like connection quality and hit registration, right? Players report issues with hit registration and gunfight consistency, making the gameplay feel wonky, right? You ever been in a gunfight and you're like, wait, what just happened? That doesn't make sense. And then you go
Yeah,
back
you
in,
should have learned.
yeah, you go back into the gameplay video, and you're like, you see it from his point of view, and you're like, it still doesn't make sense.
It doesn't look the same. It looks different.
Yeah, Puebla, have you ever experienced anything like that?
I have because how you say it? Maybe because my computer's ass, but sometimes like shooting, and then you see the other person. It's like I'm looking at it, but on their screen, it looks like I'm looking at something else, and I'm like, but I'm clearly aiming at you, but on their screen, it looks like I'm aiming at the air or
Yeah,
something. I'm not even looking at them. I'm like, maybe that's why I'm lost because on their screen, they're actually shooting headshot, but on my screen, it looks like they're shooting my feet.
yeah. Yep. No, that you're not the only one that goes through that, man. I've had several times where I've done that. I'm like shooting him in the head. You'll even have an opportunity where you're like shooting them and you're getting hit registrations and you're like, I just dumped the whole clip into him with hit registrations. He ain't dead. I don't know what else to do. I could throw a nade at him, maybe like hit him with some splash damage, but like, come on. Like, why do I have to put more than a whole clip into people sometimes?
Yeah, usually snipers should be like a two shot or one shot, but then they're still alive, and you're like, "Wait, how'd you lie? I heard the sound. It hit you," and they're like, "No, I'm still alive," and then they kill you. It's not fair. You literally hit them, but they're like, "Nope, the Call of Duty glitch saved me once again."
Yep, yep. You just feel like your kill got stolen from you. You just got robbed, right? That's so disappointing when that
Exactly.
happens. The other thing too, though, is that people are kind of lack of excitement in gunsmithing. Which, I mean, the smithing system was too simplistic and lacked the creative depth seen in other Call of Duty games. Yeah, but you know what? It's you've got to first off, they've got to choose where to put their energy, right? They chose to put it in movement this time around, which means that they're going to have a lack of, depth and a lot of other things. But also at the same time, like if you were here for these last couple releases, even Modern Warfare 2019 was almost getting to this point. And I think it's because of Warzone um being an addition to everything. They wanted to try and streamline everything and put it all together and all in one, and you have availability to everything. Well, Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 were so full of excitement for gunsmithing. I'm sorry, they made it over cumbersome. They made that thing so annoying. I remember people like, what suppressor did you say? And then like 5 minutes later, they're like, oh, I found it at the very end of the suppressor list. And you're like, how
It's
big
like
was the
200
list?
suppressor.
And then you're like, I've got like 150 suppressors on my suppressor list. And you're like,
You know what's
that's
even worse?
too much.
When it's even worse when they tell you have to tune it. Remember when you
Oh
have to tune
yeah,
it?
Modern Warfare 2 tuning, dude. Oh my gosh. Not only did we have a humongous list of things, but then you also had to tune each individual item, right? So if you chose the wrong item and you were tuning it, right, you then had to go back into the list and you had to go and find everything all over again, and then you had to tune it all over again. It was a huge mess. Not only that, but
I feel like
you couldn't take an item that you were using and save the tuning you made to that specific suppressor so that when you put it on other guns, it was exactly where you wanted it. You had to go in and tune it every single time. And then they also had a whole season where the tuning was broken. Yo,
exactly. So every gun was ass.
yeah. I'm excited by the fact that they've taken the gunsmithing system and have simplified it. I don't necessarily see that as a negative. People that were introduced in Modern Warfare 2 and 3, they're like, I'm used to it now, right? Like they're gonna be unexcited because they're like, well, gunsmithing used to be like a whole lot more. And it's like, yeah, but the point of Call of Duty's originality is that gunsmithing was simplistic. That's what brought people to Call of Duty was how simple it was. Like if you were a higher level than somebody else and you had more access to your gunsmithing utilities, right? You could have a whole lot more fun, right? It meant that playing the game and leveling up and being the first person to get to the higher levels meant that you got to have fun, right? Whereas people nowadays, they're like, oh yeah, I just, the way they had gunsmithing, you could literally get everything unlocked for your gun by the time you hit level 5. Everything for every gun unlocked so quickly, right? If you unlocked another gun and leveled that one all the way up, you had that gun's stuff available for your other weapons. That doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
I mean, it does make sense, but it also doesn't make sense. Like, you didn't put the time into that weapon. Why do you get to have early access to stuff for that weapon, right?
I feel like this doesn't make sense because like Call of Duty, if they wanted to, they could have made the basic gun anything else, right? Like Call of Duty has the power to make a pistol super OP or some LMG machine gun super OP. So like why does I want to know what's their categorization, like, oh, you gotta rank this gun first to unlock the next gun. So let's say, like, you know how something like a new meta comes out and it turns out it's one of the gun you already ranked in the beginning. Okay, that's good for you. But then you're working on ranking up the other gun later on, and they're not pretty good. You would think the gun later on you worked so hard to unlocking would be better, but it's actually not.
Yeah, so they kind of had a little bit of backwards philosophy on their guns and their weapon system. And then the balance of all of that, right? Like, we could talk about the gunsmithing and the lack of for a really long time. I'm glad that they're simplifying that so they can focus on other things that the community really wants, right? It means that they can put time and energy into things that we want versus, oh wow, we just added another, 14 suppressors. Why?
You know,
What's
I
the
have a good
point?
idea. I have a good idea.
Yes, sir.
Call of Duty should make it where, okay, so in Modern Warfare, let's just say you unlock Black Ops 6. You know how Vanguard is some gun that was transferred to Warzone back in the
Yeah.
days?
Yeah.
So I say Black Ops 6, for instance, let's just say, because I know in Warzone, you don't get your loadout after it. So what if instead of putting an attachment on your gun, you just like rank up the gun in Modern Warfare. So then you get the attachment there. And then you know how like in Fortnite you get a gun and
Yeah.
then you go to the table and you can add attachment that way?
Yeah. But
It
like
should be something like that.
on the go gunsmithing is kind of what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Mobile gunsmithing. Yeah. I mean, they could do that. That would be possible. It's just it also depends on the game style and where they want to take it. So Fortnite has that. You've also got a lot more players in Fortnite. So um right, like they have like what? You can have like 150 people in a lobby. Is that right?
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah, 100.
So yeah, you can have a lot more people in Fortnite. Their map also is a little bigger. Um, and then it also, so some of that wouldn't make sense for like Rebirth. It would be kind of hard to do that on Rebirth, right? Because you have how
What about
often you
regular
die.
battle royale?
Yeah, it would be, that would be an idea for Battle Royale. I could see how that could work. But then you'd also be, making an enemy out of people who came in early Warzone, and right, like once you get your load out that and you go off and you can go start slaying people. Right, so I don't know, it would be an interesting dynamic to see them try and add that in there, but it also at the same time, like, I'm sorry, but Call of Duty is starting to get a little stale with how little game modes they seem to be adding to Warzone, like Rebirth and Battle Royale. They don't seem to have anything else to make, to make it interesting or fun to play, right? Warzone is all about like your KD. How many people are you
Exactly.
killing? How, can you drop a 20 bomb? Well, isn't there anything you can do to make Warzone, like a party mode for Warzone or various party modes that people enjoy? Like, what if you had prop hunt in Warzone?
Black Ops 6, they had that for Kodia.
Yeah. What if you did that in Warzone though? Much a
That
much
that
a much bigger map, obviously you'd have to like kind of limit the props, and if you just left the map the way that it was, right, instead of adding a whole bunch of other props, then it would be easier to spot those types of things, right? It also depends on how many people you have on each team, yada yada yada. But like the point is, like, let's do something to make Warzone fun. Let's not let it get stale again. Um, right? So why don't we go ahead and take a quick second here? And was there any final words you wanted to say before we watched one of my gameplays and I gave some highlights on it? Puebla?
No, no, I just heard they like the clip.
Yep. Feeling good about that? All right. Let's go ahead and head over to the gameplay here. Right. We've got it pulled up on YouTube. This is our channel. Definitely go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Head on over there and watch all the videos you want. We got 2,000 plus videos of us just kind of having fun, creaming people, just some friendly Warzone gameplay, right? All right, are you guys ready? Here we go. Yep, I got a double there. That's 3. Come over here really quick. Get 4 and 5. All right. Let's go ahead and see what's going on here. There might have been some server issue or latency on their end, and it's clear that that's possible, right? Right here at the beginning, I'm facing off against 2 people looking down my lane, looking at me, right? They got first hits on me, right? But somehow I shoot, kill the one dude, and then shoot and kill his friend as I'm taking cover. I don't know what happened there. Maybe they're on mouse and keyboard. I don't know, right? In this one, I believe I'm using the I forget the name of the gun. It's not the C9, it's the other one. It's the other SMG. But I'm using the top SMG for this one, right? I'm confused there. I'm like, wait, how did I do that? Then this guy doesn't realize that I've rotated, right? So I'm behind him. I get the kill. Now at this point, those people should have realized that I was over here. Right? I climb up really quick. There's no gunfight happening between this area over here and down this lane, right? So I'm not sure how I got these next 2 kills. But I come in. This guy didn't check his angles or corners. Right? Had that guy slid in looking down this way really quick, he would have seen me coming. I probably would have been killed. Right? I come in, get the quick kill from behind. His teammate literally watches me kill him. What is he doing? I don't know what he's doing. I'm on a bloodthirsty revenge type, kill stream. I come in and I take this guy out too with a quick little drop to the floor. That guy was mine. Stuff like this happens all the time to people where you get some hit registration and then maybe you miss or something happens and they end up winning and you're like, how? So that right there, that's a little bit of gameplay highlight and clips. I hope you guys are excited over that. We definitely have a deer. Never mind. My wife's not here. Usually at this point we'd ask a listener or two for a question. Koi Blood, does a question come to mind that we can address right away for the community?
Yes, actually something recent for October. Cause you know how Call of Duty does with the Halloween thing.
Yeah.
You think what do you think Call of Duty gonna do for Black Ops 6 Halloween?
What are they gonna do for Black Ops 6 Halloween? Um,
Yeah, what do you think they're gonna do?
they are
Like, just take a
most
guess.
they're most definitely going to do some jump scares. I can tell you that. Um, they might do some Easter eggs for Black Ops 6. Is there anything specific that comes to mind for you?
Honestly, I hope that they bring back Ghostface. I know they're gonna have Michael
Ghostface?
Myers. Yeah, Ghostface.
Oh,
Ghostface the Killer.
yeah. Why don't you explain that to us a little bit?
Yeah, they had Ghostface. I forgot how many years ago, 3, 4, something like that. But I know this Halloween they're gonna do Michael Myers as the operator for regular Call of Duty. But for Black Ops 6, I don't know what they're gonna do. But I hope they bring more spooky stuff to Black Ops 6. So, it has zombie stuff related.
Yeah,
So I hope they do something like that. I hope it's gonna be cool. A really Halloween aesthetic. Cause I know last time, I think last year in Warzone, they had like the Halloween train. They had Lilith and
yeah,
had some creepy clown. It was cool, but I feel like they could have done better. So I hope with Black Ops 6 and the new community, they're getting like new people from outside Call of Duty. I hope they'll be like, oh, we gotta make this in a banger. So
yeah.
that's my hope. But Call of Duty has let us down a lot of times. But I just hope it's not this year.
Yeah, yeah, let's hope it's not this year. I mean, the ghoulie camo that they had for MW2 is actually pretty cool. And I remember being able to attach that to my weapon and being like, "Hey," showing it off to people like, "This is really cool," right? I hope they do something really cool for their skins for Black Ops 6 for their Halloween drop. And definitely, especially considering the game drops October 25th, which is like what, 6 days before um
Halloween.
Halloween, right? So hopefully they have something big in the works. Probably a huge topic they have up on their board, and they're just trying to figure out the best way to do it. And we just hope that they address that. Um, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up here really quick. So today we talked about some things that they can improve on for Black Ops 6. We definitely talked about a few of the server issues, connection quality, lack of excitement that they've had for the game, right? We went a little bit over SBMM and how that's kind of, ruining the game a little bit. Um, how has this game been received by other players, and whether or not Call of Duty can bridge the gap of old players and the new player base and bring them together, and how that's going to look over the next year. Um, right. So I also need to take a quick drink of water.
Good, good, good.
Gotta
Drink,
keep
drink, drink.
hydrated. Look, 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 look. Right. So
Sad.
got that nice
Any
little
sponsors out
sound bit.
there? Hit us up.
Yep. We next week we will definitely talk a little bit more about the zombies. What they've said, a few of the reviews, kind of go over a few of the gameplay that they had at Call of Duty Next. And maybe we even get into a few of the wonder weapons. I don't know. Just, we'll take it as it goes. We'll see how much time we have and what we've got available. So this is Triple G and Koibla signing off.
Yes, sir.